Welcome to a terrible wrestling show. It's episode something. I didn't check. It might be 8, might be 9, might be 10. I don't know, but it's Money in the Bank 2025.
I'll tell you what it is. It's episode Money in the Bank 2025.
Bingo! Let's go. I got John and Ricky. John, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I don't think I was on the last episode.
No, you aren't.
And you know, we'll see how this show is.
Yeah, exactly. Ricky, what about you? How you doing? I think you're the one who. Yeah, me and you, we held it down last time.
Yeah, I think wasn't Jacob on the last episode as well?
I think it was just me and you.
It might have been, but I think it was it Backlash? Yeah, it was Backlash.
yeah.
We did Backlash,
Yeah,
and then it was WrestleMania before.
Yep.
And then, of course, I did not hesitate when I said Dominic Mysterio, Intercontinental Champion. I was so
brother.
happy about it. Anyways, but anyway, no. Other than that, I'm doing well. It is summertime. Just because it's summertime, it does not mean that basketball season is still underway. Like we are still doing basketball stuff. So I had camp today. I'll finally go back and have more practices tomorrow and everything like that. It's just a busy summer.
Man, I feel you, because right now at the time of this ATWS episode, it is the busiest time of the year, it feels like, for Sparky 3 and Game Static. So make sure to go check out the main channel of Sparky 3. Go listen to Game Static. Go check out the videos we got coming out for Summer Game Fest, State of Play, Xbox Showcase, possibly Nintendo Direct. A lot of stuff happening over there. Switch 2 coming out. Go check out the main channel, but also subscribe to this channel, Terrible Sports Network, the home of ATWS and a terrible football show as well, which should be probably getting some sort of episode coming soon. We usually do like a June and July episode, so subscribe to the channel for that. And then, of course, we'll be back full-time in August. Super exciting there. Make sure to check out the Patreon if you want to support us further, and we appreciate that support. But yeah, no, Money in the Bank 2025, boys. Right now we got a 4-card matchup. The day we are doing this episode is a couple days earlier than normal. We usually do these on a Thursday. This is June 3rd. So if more stuff comes out later, it is what it is. It is what it is. This is the episode. We got a busy week with everything going on with Game Static. So this was the best day to kind of knock things out. But let's kind of jump into some just general wrestling related things right now. For starters, thank you, Truth. Thank you, Carlito. Legends. Absolute legends. Very unfortunate that they both got released. Apparently it was like a budget cut thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the little bit of confusion there. It's not necessarily released. It's contracts not being renewed.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, contracts not being renewed.
It's a small distinction, but it is one I think it's worth noting because it was only like a month ago or so that there was a round of releases.
Yeah, we had the actual yearly releases that we usually have. So yeah, that's a good point. I also saw Valhalla also announced that she is also having her contract not renewed as well, which she's been off for a little while. I think, Ricky, are you froze? Nope, you're back. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, which she's been off TV for a little while because I think she was having a baby.
Yeah, she had a kid.
Yeah, I think
it was just
Valhalla. She's also getting her contract not renewed. I think because she's with Eric, right? Is it Eric or Ivar she's with? I think
it's Eric.
Okay. Well, she just had their kid recently, so she's been off TV for a little while, and now her contract is also not being renewed. But shout out to Truth and shout out to Carlito, especially Truth, man. What a G. I for me personally, it's all good. I understand business is business kind of thing, but man, I kind of wish this decision was made just like a smidge bit sooner. You know what I mean? Where maybe like that Saturday Night Main Event was kind of like his last showing, because now it feels kind of weird that we had that and then he was on SmackDown. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. I feel like we as a collective of fans, I feel like we all could, we're all bummed that R-Truth's gone and we all wish he was still here. But at the same time, if he didn't appear on SmackDown and the news came out after Saturday Night Main Event, then I feel like we could have all been as a collective. It's like, well, at least he had a really cool way to go out. You know what I mean? Like a really fun way to go out. So I don't know. It just feels kind of like in the moment kind of thing. The non-renewing happened, but like I said, it is what it is, man. It's business. It sucks, but it is what it is, I suppose.
It would have been nice because you can only assume the decision was made a little while back.
Yeah.
That, I mean, yeah, it could have been more of like, say it's not happening, or say like Saturday night's main event was going to be his last show, and then you could have had a little
fun with it,
Could have even added a little played with it a little bit and added like if he lost, his career is over type thing to it.
Right.
Which could have made us like a little reason for it to happen.
Right. And he's a great comedy character. We love him. He's hilarious. He makes a lot of characters break. But at the same time, and he's in great shape too. But man, he is old. I mean, isn't he like in his 50s? Isn't he like 54 or
He's
some shit?
53.
53. So
He's 53. Yep.
yeah, I
He'll
mean,
be 54 soon.
I don't think he's going to necessarily go like sign with AEW or anything. I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly, I think he may just do focus on like the music that he does and just kind of chill. That's kind of my mindset. But either way, shout out to Truth, shout out to Carlito. Judgment Day is not the same without Carlito. It's very unfortunate. Let's talk Money in the Bank though. First thing I wanted to ask you guys: have you guys seen this report that apparently Triple H is just not a fan of Money in the Bank? You guys seen this?
Yeah, I heard of this.
Yeah,
and I saw a couple videos kind of talk about it, and I guess it's one thing that I saw kind of pointed out across some videos that I did see on it is he might just not like the idea of it, but it's also that like he's never really been a part of it.
Yeah. He's never been cashed on. He's never won it. I don't
Yeah.
think he's ever been part of the match.
So it's like he doesn't. That may have been like he didn't want to be involved with it and kind of pushed to not be involved with it. But it is one where it's like since he doesn't have the attachment to it, yeah, it seems like he doesn't care for it as much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everyone else loves it.
Right. I mean, I think his only involvement he's ever had was what, Randy and Daniel Bryan. I think that's it. Like, and that was just him as, special guest referee celebrating Daniel Bryan's big win, and then turns against Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton comes down and cashes in. That's the most involvement I think he's ever had with it. But no, I saw that report kind of floating around for a little while that he's just not a fan of Money in the Bank, and it made me think, like, man, you can't be thinking about like ever getting rid of this thing. Like it's like, it's arguably like one, like in the same category of just like one of the biggest shows of the year, but also with like how a couple of like briefcase winners are handled and stuff, you can kind of see the little bit of the writing on the wall that he's not the biggest fan of it. You know what I mean? Which is how it's
I think
handled
the biggest
sometimes.
thing it's hard to write a storyline with it if you think about it.
Yeah.
And so with some of these others that we're going to talk about here in a little bit,
Yeah.
I can kind of go into details on that. So when you look at the Pass Away the Bank winners, some of them had very, very good storylines into it.
Right.
But you also, in the back of your mind, it's like, how do you surprise the audience? How do you surprise the audience with, hey, so and so's going to cash in? Knowing in the back of your mind, so and so is the Money in the Bank winner, and they still have the Money in the Bank. So let's think about that. It's kind of like, with Tiffany. With Tiffany and what's her name?
Nia.
Nia Jax. Yes, I was trying to think. You think about that one. For months. There was that whole entire tease. Tiffy, it's gonna be Tiffy time. Tiffy's gonna cash in. She's gonna knock the piss out of Nia Jax. I almost said Naomi. She's gonna knock the piss out of Nia Jax. And she's finally gonna do it. And it took a while. To me, I could see where he's coming from. Personally, and this is just me. I want Money in the Bank to be back at WrestleMania. You're doing 2 nights of WrestleMania now. Instead of taking Money in the Bank, having it's one pay-per-view, put the matches itself at WrestleMania. Quit giving us these crappy tag team, 6-man, 6-woman tag team matches at WrestleMania. Give us 2 Money in the Bank, one each night, 1 women, 1 men each night, and do it then. And then you can bring back, bring back the Great American Bash. I know they do that for NXT. Bring it back for WWE. Bring something back. Don't have a separate pay-per-view for Money in the Bank, which I'm cool with. I'm going to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't going to lie to you. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it, but I just think that it's better at WrestleMania than what it is on its own pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think the only thought process there is having the pay-per-view for it and then not having like the ladder match on it is because a lot of times where it kind of seems like Money in the Bank is the way to kind of get like some of your like mid-carders or upper mid-card guys in, like, give them the opportunity for it. But also it's like I see what you're saying about the tag team ladder matches at WrestleMania. they're sometimes they're fun, but a lot of times they're not great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you take that away and put a Money in the Bank in there, we're just not going to see tag team stuff at WrestleMania, because that's the only way they really put it in there.
Yeah, and then the other side of things that I look at too, which this is a double-edged sword, right? Like there's pluses and minuses to both this, right? Is that if you put it back at Mania, then I feel like personally, not all the time, but there are going to be years that you're going to lose a lot of talent that have that opportunity to get put into that match because you're going to have all your big talent in already WrestleMania matches, right? Where it's like, you look at like, let's say this men's Money in the Bank match that we have coming up now. Like I see 3 names that would be in normal WrestleMania matches with LA Knight, Penta, and Seth that I love them being part of this match for various story purpose reasons. Like I love that Seth Rollins is in this match because of his faction and what he's doing, right? But if it was a Mania, he wouldn't be in this match. I mean, it'd be like a once on a blue moon kind of thing where Seth could be available to do this match because he didn't have a storyline. So, but that on the other side of things, while that is true, that gives you a chance to elevate your mid card talent. So it's kind of like you know what I mean? It's like there's 2 sides to it. Like obviously they'll never go back to Mania because it's so big and bloated. It's its own thing. But it's 2 sides to it in a way.
Well, think about it. When's the last time someone big actually won the Money in the Bank ladder match? Like someone that you think in the back of your mind, really, really big superstar that won Money in the Bank. It's been a while.
Unfortunately, fucking Brock Lesnar that shouldn't have won. Like Jesus Christ, freaking Brock Lesnar.
But I'm saying in general, like this is for me, this is to push your mid cards. This isn't to push your talent that's already been pushed. Yeah, to an extent, we may see something different this coming year because you have Seth Rollins on the men's side, and if they're going to continue to push that storyline with him and Punk, probably not going to win it, but we'll see. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But then again, you've got those mid carders. You think about let's think of a guy like Big E. Big E needed that push. And then, of course, because for so long he was with New Day, and it was always about New Day. It was never necessarily about his individual talent. So what do? You put the Money in the Bank on him. Yeah, it was a sucky run, but I mean at the same time, that's how you give a push to a mid carder is you give them something like this. Look forward to whether they win it or not. Later on down the road, that remains to be seen. I think there's only been like 2 or 3 winners who've cashed in and not won, but it does give them a chance to push a different story.
Also, to also answer your question, forgetting the most recent one who's big and notable, Drew McIntyre, but forgot about him because he tried to cash in the same night and it didn't work. So we kind of, it's kind of you forget about it because we wasted the Money in the Bank contract just to further a feud.
Yeah,
they didn't really need the extra fire, but definitely helped.
Well, it's one where it's one where I understand why a lot of times we get like very quick cash-ins because, like you said earlier, it's kind of hard to do a storyline with Money in the Bank, or like you always have to keep it in mind to try to make it a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it even harder when you have 2 people walking around carrying the briefcase.
Right.
So a lot of times they get rid of one so they can focus on one side of it. That's why it's usually either the women cash in quick or as we saw with Drew McIntyre, he cashes in quick because we want to give Tiffany the storyline.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like, I know you say you'd like to see it back at WrestleMania. I don't think that's ever happening.
I don't think it will either. But I just wish it was.
It's a fun conversation.
It's one where it's like people look forward to the Money in the Bank because of the potential of it, and I think they look at it as people are already going to be invested in WrestleMania. People are already going to watch WrestleMania. This gives them a reason to watch the show. Is Money in the Bank. You get to see it from there and kind of come up with the stories that you think are going to happen based off of it for the rest of the year.
Right. Man, some of these winners are just fucking abysmal. Like I'm looking at some of these and it's like obviously I like these guys, right? But it's like, God bless. The one thing that makes me so mad about contracts, about the Money in the Bank, right? And I feel like you guys can agree, is that nothing pisses me off more when you put it on a guy and you have him lose it when there was never really a chance he could win it, right? Like someone like Drew, I'm fine with him losing it because he's still a huge enough superstar where it's fine. But like you put it on like Damian Sandow, who was actually pretty over at the time, but like that's one you're gonna put it on, but you're never gonna actually have him win. Right, Baron Corbin, another one. Obviously, Austin Theory. Austin Theory got kind of screwed because it's like he's not beating Roman Reigns. There was only one champion.
I was gonna say that was a problem you had for a couple years. There was Roman had the belt. It's like, well, obviously the guys who are winning Money in the Bank, they're not cashing in on him.
Yeah,
or they're not winning at least.
I'll tell you the one that pissed me off the most. It's when Otis won, and then they made him drop it to the Miz. Like, why? Why would you do that? Otis was going over at the time, man. We all love Otis.
And then had Miz beat Drew McIntyre, in his after he held the title throughout the COVID era. And then the Miz held it for like 20 days.
I didn't realize CM Punk won back-to-back.
Yep. I think he's the only one to do it.
I think, he is the only one. I remember when Edge won it, and he was the first.
Freaking Jack Swagger, too. Jesus Christ. Like, some of these winners are abysmal, man. Like, they are abysmal. I don't know. See, that's the thing that just upsets me about the Money in the Bank winners is when you give someone the freaking briefcase and have nothing for them. It's like, why did we even book this? You know what I mean? Because it's like looking at like the people in the match now, like let's whether if it's honestly the women's side's actually pretty stacked. I'm not even going to critique the women's side. I'm just not. That's actually a pretty stacked cast. I'm cool with that cast. But I look at the men's side. It's like, bruh, obviously they're not. But it's like if you give it to Andrade, the dude's not going anywhere with it. He's going to lose it. He's not going to cash in. He's going to fail at it. It's like, why even have him in the match? Like, just so he can go do something because you haven't given him something to do since he signed?
No, you know why you put Andrade on the match? Because he's going to do some cool shit off the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
I forgot Jack Swagger won. I remember that storyline too because he always came up to the ring. I'm cashing in my money, but I'm like, oh crap. But hey, my favorite part about Jack Swagger was Zeb Coulter. That dude was hilarious.
Him being paired with Zeb was 10 out of 10. I will say.
Zeb was like the really super old school version of Paul Heyman, but he wasn't necessarily Paul Heyman, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, with this current Money in the Bank matchup that we've got with this group, I mean, I can see storylines for like 4 of these guys, but a couple of these guys, like they're just in there just to have fun. El Grande, Americano, and Andrade, like they're just there to have fun. I can see a storyline for Penta. I can see a storyline for Solo. But LA Knight and Seth, that's got to be the favorites. And in my opinion, this thing's got to go to Seth. You got to give it to Seth. Like, just imagine Seth Rollins with this new evolution, which just call it Revolution. That's great. I don't know if he's named his faction yet, but just call it Revolution. It's 10 out of 10 name. Just imagine he has Money in the Bank again. But he's like never the one carrying it. It's always Paul. It's always, one of the other 2 guys carrying it for him, and just Seth further having that image of the fans of being this really over the top, like visionary character who has the Money in the Bank, could cash in at any time and never actually carries the Money in the Bank and just has that aura around him. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Seth's the winner. But I will say LA Knight, it'd be cool to see him win it because before LA Knight's done, I know he's older. I'd like to see him win like the World Heavyweight Champion at least once. Give him like a nice few month reign. Let him have fun. Megastar in the bank. I mean, come on. But Seth Rollins to me, like that's the way to go, brother.
The only problem I have with your description is if Seth Rollins does win, I don't think he's holding on to that briefcase long term.
No, I don't think he is either. It's gonna be pretty quick. Like, I mean, it could be literally Monday, because in this upcoming Monday, Jay and Gunther.
Yeah, because I talked to you about that. It's like if he wins, I would expect a Monday cash in.
Yeah. Which quick cash-ins can be good or bad. It really just depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Like, there are cash-ins, like same-day cash-ins, that can be absolutely electric. I mean, one of the greatest cash-ins of all time was Dean Ambrose, and that was same day. But that was also one of the greatest ever because all 3 Shield members held the title on the same night, which is sick. But there are some good same-day cash-ins. But, and Seth, I could see it also just being Monday. But I could also see him just kind of holding on for a little while and just really kind of milking it. You know what I mean? I can see both sides. But, is there anyone else that could win this? Like, I mean, it's Seth or nobody, right? Like, with the storyline they're trying to build?
I don't know.
For the men's side, I was gonna tell you, I'm probably a wild card here.
Oh, okay.
Let's hear it.
I kind of want to save it for
Okay, save for picks.
we get a little further in there.
Save for
When we get
picks.
in there.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to spoil it too quickly.
I thought that's what we were doing.
No, we're just having conversation right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're just having a
Yeah,
conversation.
we're just-
Okay.
No, and then like the women's side, honestly, this is stacked as shit. Like top to bottom, brother. The women's side is stacked. And dude, I was honestly kind of like I'm shocked that I'm not shocked with Stephanie getting in it. I was asking myself, did they go ahead and put the rocket on Stephanie, or do you put Liv in there and push like a Judgment Day feud, whatever? And it's like I'm glad they're putting the rocket on her.
You say that, but the qualifying match that happened, Liv comes out to the ring, Ivy Nile comes out to the ring, then we get a video package for Stephanie. And then Stephanie's music hits, and she gets all the pyro in the world coming out. And I went, well, Stephanie's fucking winning.
See, I didn't actually watch Raw last night, so I didn't get to see that.
I watched it, yeah. It's like Liv Morgan came out, she danced around the ring with her tag team championship like she always does.
Yeah.
Ivy comes out, she kind of just like walks out and kind of
Ivy Nile things.
Walks around like flexing and stuff like that, like she does. And then it was like lights dim, video package plays, cue music hitting, and then pyro like fucking crazy.
Right.
That moment I went, oh yeah, she's qualifying.
Who's the favorite in this one?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think Rhea would be the favor in this one just because of what she's done. But at the same time, I could kind of see her taking the back seat this next year, considering that
I think she's taking the back
recently
seat.
lost the championship. I think she'll take a seat back. Gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not my pick, but I don't think anybody on here needs it more than Alexa Bliss, and here's why. Alexa Bliss has not been champion since COVID, and she has not really had a humongous push except for whenever she was with Bray Wyatt, and we've seen that situation, with his unfortunate death. But even before his death, she ended up having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming back. She's coming back. Before she left, she had that one championship match with the twirly-haired Bianca Belair. Ended up losing that match, and then we didn't see her for a very long time. I think there is no one on this list that needs it more than Alexa Bliss.
I think you actually bring up a fairly good argument.
And she would be a two-time winner. It would make sense. But I don't know if they're going to go that route. And whenever we do picks and everything like that, I'll tell you who my pick is. Even though my pick is kind of I don't know. I may change my pick because I could go one way or another.
I feel like the women's is probably down to 2 in my mind. I kind of see what you said about Alexa, but I don't know a whole lot about Alexa. That was during a period where before I started watching again, so it's like I don't have any real.
She came in with the group. She came in with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and Bayley and all them. She came in with that group. She had a very, very good push to the heel, even when she became champion. And this was, I think, right before they started shutting everything down. I think she had 1 or 2 good runs. She was a heel, and she was a good heel. Like she was really good, even before this her new character thing of hers. Like before the Alexa Bliss that you're seeing now, it was a normal heel character, and she was good at it. She was really good at it.
Yep.
Yeah. What I'll say for now on the women's Money in the Bank, I think this is an NXT call-up win.
Ooh, really? So one of the 3.
That's tough.
I think it's one of the. I think it's one of the 3 NXT call-ups.
And you've got to. And here's the thing: the reason I say it's tough is because we don't usually see that. Especially when it's a brand new call up, we usually don't see that. I remember the most recent call up that I remember was champion was Paige, and that was years ago. That was several years ago. We haven't seen a recent call up be a champion, put a championship on them right off the bat quite some time, and a lot of the times is because whenever you do have a young champion that comes up, usually they're not ready for it. And they show very, very quickly that they're not ready for it. I remember when Damian Priest came up, I said, man, this guy right here, he's got everything. He's legit. He's got the character, he's got the charisma, he's got the wrestling, he's got the talent. He has all the above. When they made him champion, it's like he forgot how to talk on a microphone. He wasn't ready for it.
You talking about when he
And
became
so
U.S. champion when he got called up and stuff?
yes, but I'm talking now. Damian's been caught up for a while.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about when he was recently. I think he was a world heavyweight champion.
yeah, last
WWE
year.
champion. He was,
Last year.
He was world heavyweight champion last
I,
year.
I thought you. I
Whenever
thought
he-
you were referring
exactly,
to his
so-
call up because, like, when he got called up, he became United States champion at some point.
Yeah, he came. United States champion was fine, but when he won the big match, and this was after 3-4 years of being in WWE, he wasn't ready for it, which was strange because it's like here you are. So,
The problem I had with that title reign is, like you said, it was not good in the beginning.
It
His
got good at
promos
the
were
end.
terrible.
It got good at
His
the
promos
end.
were terrible. The matches were whatever. By the end of it, I liked him as champion, but it was by the time he lost it.
Yeah, no, like
right at the end of his reign is when it got good.
Right at the end, it actually got really good.
It's kind of the same thing with that Gunther had, where Gunther's world heavyweight title reign kind of sucked, and then as it got closer to the end, it got better.
Yeah, same.
but you could argue that with Cody Rhodes too, and they were both terrible.
Cody Rhodes' reign was terrible because of The Rock.
No, it was horrible.
It's because of The Rock.
Okay, wait. We don't have to get into the Cody Rhodes title reign argument again. Every time we're on this show, we have the same argument about it, and none of us are backing down.
We'll never back down from this.
Nope, never.
Yeah, it's like you've got your side of it. We've got the other side of it. Nobody's changing that opinion.
I have the correct side, sir. That's the.
Hey, that's what we say too.
Yeah,
that's what we say.
Facts.
I know.
Hey, shout out to Cody Rhodes being back though. Shout out to that. It's good to see him back on TV. And
it's still garbage, man.
No.
God, the comeback is a heel.
No, not yet. It's got to be a slow burn into the heel because that makes the heel turn that much more, savory. You know what I mean? Show the descent to madness.
Remember Drew McIntyre? It took him like 8 months to become a heel.
Yeah,
but everybody knew he was becoming a heel when he became a heel.
Well, everyone knows Cody's going to become a heel.
Eventually going to do it.
Yeah,
they haven't started the year-long build for it.
Yeah, start the descent.
It only took John Cena 25 years. I mean,
I don't think that's going to happen again.
Hey, maybe you'll get your heel Cody Rhodes here in about 4.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I need it now.
No, you're getting 4.5, Bubba. But no, him being brought into this, into the storyline, back in the storyline he needs to be, with John Cena involved in everything, because this is where he's going to be the rest of the year. Coming in this tag match with Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan. One thing that I've seen a lot of people say is that a lot of people think Logan's the odd man out here, and Logan's going to be the one to take the pin, protect John, protect returning Cody, protect Jay the night before, a couple days, 2 days before he faces Gunther. I'm actually in the opposite boat. I actually think Cody or Jay is going to take this pin. I'm going to be honest with you.
I already have in mind who's taking this pin here.
I think Cody or Jay's taking the pin. I don't think you have to protect anybody here except maybe John. But I don't even think John needs to protect because John gets laid out every single fucking week. It feels like. So I don't think that's a big deal.
He gets laid out every week until it's time to have a match, and then he just dominates in a very slow fashion.
Yes, he's old.
Well, and that's the thing, though. They could go several ways with what they want to do with this entire ordeal as it is. So they could either continue to push the Cena versus Cody Rhodes rematch, which I thought they would wait till at least Christmas or December, whenever John decides to retire, before that happens, or they could do this Logan versus Cody, or they could do a Logan versus Jey Uso again for SummerSlam. And one of the things that you could really do is, if you're going to go down that route, it needs to be Logan pinning Jey Uso, because that's the championship that he would potentially be going after, not necessarily going after Cody Rhodes and vice versa. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to go down that road, Jey Uso needs to take the pin. If they're going to go down the other road, where Cody is going to face Cena at SummerSlam, which could be, I don't know what they're going to set up yet, but if they do, if that's what they're wanting to set up, I could see John Cena taking a pin here. But at the same time, I also understand trying to protect the champion like Cena until the end of the year when he finally loses that final match. Because you think about it, I mean, it would make more, to me, it makes more sense for John to keep winning the rest of the year, losing that final match, than it does him losing now and then losing toward the end. I think because he's given so much, given these young guys like Austin Theory and these other guys that he's faced over the years, putting them over, it would make more sense to me to let him go over the rest of the year, until his final match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think John has to win every match pretty convincingly until the end of the year when he finally loses.
True. Or whenever they decide to pull the plug, whether it be at the very end of the year when he's like last couple matches, or maybe at like Survivor Series or whatever. Yeah, no, I think you need to keep making John look strong, because there's the whole narrative that John's twisting on screen where it's like, I got this many dates left before I'm out of here and I'm ruining wrestling.
I don't know if we mentioned it before, but I saw one take on another podcast where I was like, since he does point out like his dates every time he really he shows up, makes a big deal out of it. It'd be great if like one week they advertise John Cena showed up. He walks out to the ring, points up to the monitor, and it counts down a day, and then he just leaves.
Please, you got to do that 1 week. Because like the whole idea is he's ruining wrestling. He's a heel. He's not giving the fans. Please, you got to do that. That's 10 out of 10.
I want that to happen so bad.
I want that so bad. Please, you got to make that happen. Like, just come out. It would be so sick if he came out and just did it without saying anything. But because he's so like intertwined with like, let's say a feud with Cody Rhodes, whatever, just have him come out. Say like literally one sentence of a promo about Cody, point to the screen, it goes down and leaves. You know what I mean? Since he's so intertwined with storylines. But I would love for him just to say nothing and leave. That'd be great. That would be so good.
Or it's like instead of like doing a promo or something, it's like he comes out. He comes out, say it's like he's 10, like he's got 10 appearances left.
Yeah.
He walks out to the ring, all he says is 9, and then leaves.
See, that'd be great. That would be great. And then later on in the night, have Cody Rhodes come out, cut a promo, whatever, that John Cena's, a coward and not here and blah, blah. That, oh my God. Let that start the show. Let it start the show. That'd be great. 10 out of 10 start. But no, this match will be fun though. And I'm glad we're all on the same page. I don't think it's as simple as Logan's the odd man out. He's taking the pin. No, I think this is kind of free game. I really do, man. I think Cody or Jay's taking this pin. Because I think that further helps add the climb storylines. You know what I mean? Like, I really do. Whether if it's the climb of Jay beating Gunther again, if he takes the pin, it's like, oh, well, oh, Jay, you lost this weekend. Well, now you're facing me. Good luck. Or, Cody trying to climb back up to John Cena. It's like, I think one of these guys are taking the pin. I don't think it's just going to be a babyface happy day kind of thing, personally. So, I will say I am actually super pumped for this Lyra Becky match, because that match at Backlash was fire.
I was going to ask, how are you guys feeling about this Lyra Becky feud?
So pumped. Dude, they've crushed it. Crushed it. Like, they have made this title feel so important. Lyra is already great, but now this is like further helped elevate her status, right? Where like the fans are really getting behind her in this title. Like, this is great.
I think more than anything, because Lyra's been good in the ring.
True.
But I think this feud has kind of relaxed her to an extent on the microphone.
Right.
Because like before she started feud with Becky on it, she was always kind of timid on the mic.
Right, yeah.
And it's like she would it was one where it's like she'd come out and wouldn't really get a reaction, but people would enjoy the match.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now, because of this, it's kind of rounding out where she's actually a character now.
Right. Yeah, like she's really developed like the personality that we saw in NXT is now starting to blossom more on the main roster. I mean, this is the feud she needed. And the US title over on SmackDown, they need something like this too. And I don't think we're going to really get it until after Julia gets the title, because Julia's already spotting, the title as we saw recently, and it's going to go to Julia. Julia's getting that title off Zelina Vega, and Julia's going to take it and hopefully take it to new heights and hopefully have some solid feuds with it. But this is what the women's IC title need, was this feud with Becky. Now the question is, does Becky lose again, or is this going over to Becky? Because there is that little bit of a stipulation of that last chance match that we see every once in a while, where it's like if Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Lyra is champion. But then on the other side, if Lyra loses and she's forced to raise Becky's hand and acknowledge Becky as the better woman. So it's like, man, which way could this go? Do you take the title off Lyra, give it to Becky for a little bit, and have Lyra win it back, or you just like further push Lyra to the top? That's there's two sides to it. You can push Lyra to the top either way, but how do you want to do it is the question.
And I think one of the things you also have to remember is if they're going to keep the belt on Lyra, who's next?
Right.
Like could you really have a better storyline than what she has right now?
True.
Well, that was the problem with her with the title to begin with. That she didn't have any. There's not like a developed women's division on Raw right now necessarily, because like she's had the title, but she didn't have anybody to feud with.
Yeah.
Until Becky came back, and I think that's why Becky got put into feud with her, is because they were like, we need something to breathe some life into this title.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not necessarily Lyra's fault. It's just she doesn't have anybody on Raw, or she hasn't had anybody on Raw to feud with.
Yeah. See,
because who's she gonna feud with? Liv Morgan?
Yeah, exactly.
Liv Morgan feels a step above that.
Right. See, me, I'm kind of in the mindset of what Ricky just said. It's like, if Lyra wins, what do you do? Right. Like, I feel like with the NXT call ups that we had, we're at Money in the Bank. So, heck, two of them are busy there. Right. On the Raw side, that is, two of them are busy. They're busy with Money in the Bank. There's some other things going on. I'm kind of in the mindset of like, let's make this a trilogy. Have Becky win, carry the title, maybe have a couple of defenses on Raw or something, right? Maybe against, one of these new call-ups, or maybe just some other rando, you know what I mean? And then have the trilogy at SummerSlam and have Lyra win it back at SummerSlam. At this point, hopefully getting even more over than she's gotten recently, and really having a nice moment at the first two-night SummerSlam. Because I keep in mind, guys, this is a two-night SummerSlam this year. So, that's kind of my mindset, is make this a trilogy. This has been a great feud. First one was a banger. I bet this is going to be a banger. The promos have been bangers. Don't end it. Let's make it a trilogy. That's my mindset. Like, why end it now? Because it's like what Ricky said, where do you go from here? So
yeah, 2 nights of SummerSlam, that's a lot.
Oh man, I feel like I'm kind of nervous about it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I am too.
I'm kind of
I am
nervous
too.
about it.
It's like what's next? 2-night Royal Rumble.
Dude, please God, do not. I have seen so many rumors about this.
It's probably gonna end up happening. The only thing with a 2-night Rumble would be you could have a Rumble each night, but it's the same thing. Like, I'm not super pumped for this 2-night SummerSlam, because I mean, at best we'll have one. We're either gonna have one good night, or we're gonna have just 2 mediocre nights.
Yeah, that's my mindset. Versus what you could have had one good show.
Well, I mean, it made more sense for WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
I thought Royal Rumble the second, or is it SummerSlam that was the second biggest show of the year as far as ratings go?
In WWE's eyes, I think it's SummerSlam, but I think it might be Royal Rumble in terms of ratings and viewership. But in the eyes of the upper leadership, they want it to be SummerSlam, clearly.
I mean, yeah, and I guess I get it to an extent, because to me, Royal Rumble would make more sense having 2 nights, because you have 2 Rumble matches that take forever, anyways. And it would make it fun. Just because I enjoy watching the Rumble matches, even though some of them have been predictably obvious the last few years, but they're still fun to watch. You can watch a bunch of storylines develop and everything like that from them as well. But I don't want to have 3, 4, 5 pay-per-views that they're like, well, we're going to do it 2 nights now. No, screw that.
Yep.
Screw that. Just keep it WrestleMania 2 nights. All right, if the SummerSlam works, fine. Whatever floats your boat, I don't care. But it is what it is.
It's like, what are we gonna do for 2 nights of SummerSlam? Because It's not like you could split having like good tag team matches or anything in there because the tag divisions kind of suck.
True.
As long
true.
as either A, Bianca Belair does not get in a match,
Oh my
or
God.
B, Bianca Belair does get in a match and she loses, I don't care.
The hate continues.
I mean,
Turn her to a heel. Do it. You had your chance.
She would be a
Blew
fun
it.
heel. She would be a fun heel. All right, let's start going through some picks, boys.
Cut that.
Let's start
Long-
going through
make
some
sure we
picks.
cut
'Cause we got more conversations to explore with these picks. Let's go ahead and just start with Lyra and Becky since we are fresh off this topic. You know, how we which way are we leaning on who's going to win here? The more I'm thinking about it, especially now that we're talking the whole 2-night SummerSlam thing, we're nervous about it, whatever. I'm officially locking in Becky because like 2-night SummerSlam, first one ever. I think a lot of people are nervous about this. Like, you know, is this going to be worth the shit? This has been a great feud so far. Don't end it. Make it a trilogy. Becky Lynch is going to win.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it makes more sense for Becky to win it now, just because, like you said, there was no one else for her for Lyra to feud with, whatever the case may be. But this would also help the women's Intercontinental Champion, which is still a fairly new champion. It would help elevate that title just a little bit more. Even though you and I both know, I don't see Becky Lynch being more than a 3-4 month champion afterwards anyway. But just because you got to push other people on the card. He really doesn't need it. They just need the title to be pushed. So yeah, I'll take Becky Lynch as well.
initially I was gonna say Becky.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna go Lyra
okay.
because I feel like the purpose of this Becky feud has been to elevate Lyra and kind of bring her out of her shell, which it has succeeded in. You could continue the feud just because it has been a good feud. You could just have it split, send them to SummerSlam to have the blow off match there. The problem then is like if Lyra ended up winning there, well then what do you end up doing with Lyra?
Right.
If you establish her, if you just go ahead and establish her, she wins 2 back-to-back matches against Becky. Then Lyra has kind of like established herself as like the women's Intercontinental Champion. Like who's gonna face off against her? And it's one where I didn't know it's like I didn't have anybody in mind at first, but we do have 2 pretty new NXT call-ups that could like come in and be pretty good challenges to her. You could go with Roxanne Perez because like she's kind of been in this Judgment Day storyline. You could send her in there, and then like Liv could be like, okay, well if you think you actually can be a part of this group, why don't you go get the title and bring it back to us?
Good point.
And have something there. Or you could have you got Stephanie Vacquier who just showed up. She's officially signed to Raw now, just made her debut immediately in the Money in the Bank match. You could bring her in because she's new, like she's the hot new thing right now.
Right.
Bring her in and put her in a feud with there. It's going to end up like, regardless of how good the feud is, the matches there would be fantastic.
Facts.
So she has a couple challengers there. They got some new faces that could be good title challengers there. Otherwise, you'll be extending this Becky thing just to trade the title back and forth.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, I think your argument, I really feel like it solidifies like, yo, this is 50-50. Like it really could go either way. Because I mean, you could transition this over into, the Roxanne storyline. They said, hey, if you're going to be part of Judgment Day, bring us back something, right? And plus, honestly, all right, hold on. We're cooking right now. All right.
I don't like where he's going. I already know where he's going.
Yeah, you do, brother. Yeah, you do. All right. We start the storyline with Roxanne Perez going after the women's IC title, to bring something back to the Judgment Day. Well, who's the men's IC title holder over in the Judgment Day? I'm just saying, I'm seeing the writing on the walls of a new power couple of both of them holding the IC title. Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Roxanne Perez, baby.
Alex, that reminds me. I meant to send you this picture I saw. It was a picture. It said what women's titles used to look like, and it was like the first women's title, the Divas title, the current titles.
Yeah.
And it said, and then the next picture was what the women's title is now, and it was a picture of Dominic Mysterio.
You're damn right, brother. You damn right. It's Dirty Dom. I'm seeing the storyline on the wall right now. I'm seeing it. So I think you're on to something. I think Roxanne Perez could be the next champion. I'm still going to stay with Becky for the sake of the trilogy, but I'm feeling a Roxanne Perez taking it.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know who her next challenger would be. Lyra's one of those. I feel like Lyra is kind of like Liv Morgan in the sense that I think like Triple H likes her.
Yeah.
He likes her. He wants to push her to the moon, and we've seen Liv get pushed every which way she can be pushed, really.
True.
And it's like at least on Lyra's side, if she is holding the title for a while, I mean, as the inaugural champion, if she holds it for a while and then drops it to somebody, and then we have a good feuds coming out of it from there, then the title will feel like it actually means something.
True.
Like for a while, it felt like it meant nothing. Now it's starting to feel like it's important.
Yeah.
Which means whatever the feud is when she actually loses it has to keep that momentum going. And I think a switch back and forth doesn't give that feeling.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, what about the tag match? Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. How are we feeling on this one?
I'll lock it in now. John Cena's pinning Cody Rhodes again.
Okay, all right.
Because you gotta if you're playing this storyline of Cody trying to come back after John. In my mind, it makes sense to keep this story of John's got Cody's number.
Okay.
John he beat him at WrestleMania. He can even if this match is primarily like Logan Jey, Logan Cody, you have John come in, end up getting the pin over Cody, and then it's like if Cody comes back after him, John could be like, dude, I've pinned you twice. It's like you don't just get the shot because you keep calling me out, and then you can start like trying to do the Cody build back up for the end of the year match.
See, that's actually my thought as well. Is I think John and Logan's going to win, and I do think Cody's taking the pin. And I'll go ahead and lock him with you. John's going to be the one to pin him, but I mean I could see it going either way, Logan or John pinning. But I mean either way, Cody's taking this pin. I think I see the argument to have Jey take the pin. But I also think, we're still honestly so early in his reign, right? Protect him a little bit. You know what I mean? Protect him just a little bit. So we're still so early. If this was, 4 or 5 months into the reign, then okay, yeah, maybe Jey could take the pin. But let's still protect Jey. He is the world heavyweight champion. He's got a match on Monday, right? Protect Jey to some extent. But Cody coming fresh back. Like, I know people want to say, oh, well, he's fresh back. We don't have him take the pin. Need I remind you that Solo pinned Cody Rhodes when no one thought that would happen and when Cody was the champion?
Like, the other thing is, Cody gets pinned, like, once or twice a year.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna pin him, why not have it be the guy holding the top championship?
Exactly.
Yeah, this won't be, like, Solo pinning him.
Right. What about you, Ricky? What you got?
Yeah, I make it 3 for 3. I don't care who takes the pinfall, who pins, who does anything. I think John and Logan are going over on this for sure.
Okay.
And Bianca Belair needs to turn heel and cut that long ass hair of hers.
No, that's a weapon, brother. That's a pop every match.
That's illegal.
It's a pop every match, brother. It's not even her real hair, though. Just for the record. So technically, it is cut. Yeah. If you want to get technical,
I know that, but I'm just
they can't get rid of it at this point. It's too much of a marketing tool for them.
Yeah, it's a weapon. It is hearing that loud pop in a match is one of the highlights of our matches. It's great, especially the aftermath. Jesus Christ, All right, what about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match? This is, like I said, this is a stacked match. This really is. This is stacked top to bottom. Everyone here is, for the most part, really, really over. And I say for the most part because if I'm going to be honest with you, I think the bottom person here for this match, hot take, is Rhea Ripley. And I say that just because of how over and how much shit she's had for the past 2 years. She's just here for a good time. I feel like the winner needs to be someone else. Although there's a lot of marketing with Mommy in the Bank, a lot of marketing there. But like, dude, it's just one of those times. Like, I think Ricky, you're the one who said it earlier. You know, it's time for her to kind of go do something else for a little while. And John, you and I, we've talked about this before. It's time for her to go do something else without the title for a little while.
Yeah,
But this is a
she doesn't
stacked
always
match.
have to have a title.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, she's one of the best in the business. I mean,
Right.
she definitely doesn't need it.
Yeah. How are we feeling on this? Who's everyone's favorite here? Like who we got winning? Who we locking in?
I'll block it in Roxanne Perez.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting.
Roxanne.
Very, very interesting. I could probably.
It's
I
one.
don't
She's one of the two that I'm.
I was gonna say
considering.
I've got my reasonings. If you guys want to mention yours before I say my reasoning, so I don't sway you.
Ricky,
Oh
what's
no,
yours?
you go. No, you go ahead. No, I want to listen to you. I want to be swayed because I don't know if I'm comfortable with my pick.
So
Okay, that's
part
fair.
of the reason I say Roxanne is like one is kind of the Judgment Day storyline going on right now. She's already she's not necessarily accepted in the group, and the fact that Liv Morgan didn't end up making it in. There's been the tension between her and Liv Morgan this whole time, and Raquel.
Fair.
We've got so if Roxanne wins Money in the Bank, that's kind of another little rift that you can throw into that storyline. But the other thing is, like, Roxanne, everything that she's been in so far, she's been pushed to the moon. She was runner-up in the Rumble. She got the longest time in the Rumble. She's like, I think she was runner-up in Elimination Chamber. It's like she's clearly one of the people that WWE have their eye on. Is like, this is a next star right here, because she's setting records in every match that she goes in. Like all of these big event matches, she's setting records for. She's always the runner-up for. If you're gonna play that story out, you might as well give her, like, she's been runner-up in 2. Give her the win for the 3rd one, and then you can push her as the next big thing.
Okay, good points. I'm still super conflicted because, like, all right, for me, I've got Roxanne as one of my 2. And it's kind of, I didn't think about it as deeply as you did, where I didn't think about her being the runner-up at both Rumble and Chamber. I honestly didn't think about that. I just thought about it from the Judgment Day point alone. But that whole runner-up thing, you bring up a damn good point that I didn't think about. But I was thinking Roxanne from the idea of the Judgment Day splitting, whatever, because like that just seems to be a true trope that we can run with and just have fun with. I mean, we already see the seeds planting for something happening with Finn. Finn loving the turmoil of everything happening. We got a tease of Demon Finn on Monday. Shout to that if anyone didn't see it. I saw the picture of it. There was a tease for Demon Finn, so that's pretty cool. But I was looking at Roxanne as a possibility strictly from the Judgment Day point, not from what her recent accomplishments. So thank you for that. The other one that I was already considering before Ricky ever said a word was actually Alexa Bliss. And it honestly wasn't even from the standpoint of she needs it the most because of everything that he said. That was a little bit in my mindset because it's like she came back at the Rumble to the absolute biggest and most monstrous pop. She 1000% should have been fucking 30 and not Nikki Bella, who apparently that was supposed to be a long-term thing. Well, where the fuck is she? That was stupid. That was a dumbass one-off. But, she came back to a thunderous pop and then has really had nothing since. She was in the chamber, had fun in the chamber, missed out on Mania. There was obviously the rumors she missed out on Mania because there was supposed to be a bigger storyline with the Wyatts, but Bo Dallas was hurt. Wyatts are back. They're all on SmackDown together. So I'm still hammering in my brain that we're going to have an Alexa Bliss and Wyatt's reunion, and like Alexa Bliss kind of maybe low key be like the new leader because she'll be like the champion, right? Like that's kind of where my brain has been thinking about Alexa Bliss, is that Wyatt reunion and them just running amok all over SmackDown. The Wyatts have been very heavily involved with the tag championship stuff going on recently. In my mind, setting up for them to take those titles. You get Alexa Bliss with Money in the Bank, take that off Tiffany, get Alexa Bliss in with the Wyatt Six. Further push that the Wyatts are just gathering up championships. Like that's where my brain was with Alexa and Roxanne. So I'm very 50-50 on those two. I don't know who to pick. Like they're both such damn good arguments for completely different reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say, I was just gonna say, I'm probably the outlier here because, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Alexa Bliss. But for me personally, when I've been trying to think of what to do with her, I feel like in my mind, I would be putting her in the women's U.S. title picture because that title's got nothing going for it right now. It's like you need something to make that title feel important.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like if you're gonna have the title and have Julia's looking at it and she could go for it, but at the same time, if you could give it to Julia and then you could set up like an Alexa Bliss Julia thing, and that would make that title feel like it has something going for it. Whereas right now, it's kind of there's nothing happening with it. Zelina has the title.
Right.
Yeah, that's another one that needs to be gone from WWE. Zelina Vega. She was a terrible heel. She's a terrible babyface.
Yo, those 619s were terrible. Oh my
They were
lord.
horrible.
Oh my
gosh.
lord.
The worst in 619 history. All right, the worst in 619 history. Gentlemen, the argument that I'm going to make for my winner, I'm rooting for Alexa Bliss. I want y'all to know that, right? I'm rooting for Alexa Bliss because I think she needs it the most of all the women that are on this card. Because I think you can make an argument that Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Vacare, you could make an argument that they're still very young. They still have plenty of time ahead of them. So you can make that argument that they can wait a little bit longer before they get any kind of a push when it comes to the Money in the Bank. The argument that I have, though, can work for Roxanne Perez, though. It can work for Roxanne Perez. I'm picking Naomi, and I'm going to tell you why I'm picking Naomi. Naomi is the outlier in this, other than Roxanne Perez. I think she is the absolute outlier in this entire thing, especially because one of the great things about Money in the Bank, gentlemen, is when heels get the Money in the Bank. Here's something else we also have to remember. In the men's contract, there's only been two that I have not successfully cashed in. We have not had that yet with the women's. If Naomi were to cash in, she can still afford to be the one, become the first one that was unsuccessful due to maybe interference from Jade Cargill, maybe even interference from the other twirly twisted hair person, whatever the case may be. Because I think the biggest thing right now is Naomi's biggest thing has been Jade Cargill, and they could be going to SummerSlam. I don't know. They could be doing whatever the case may be when it comes to SummerSlam. You could also argue that for Roxanne Perez though, because you still have the Judgment Day. You could have her cashed in, and then like Liv Morgan interrupts her, prevents her becoming world champion. Bam, you got a feud right there. So that argument could also be made. But I think you could also make sure that this is the first time that whoever cashes in is unsuccessful, because it hasn't happened in the women's division yet. So I think this would be a good pop for that to happen this year. So I'm picking Naomi. I'm rooting for Alexa Bliss.
Okay, good argument. I like that. We're all.
I was gonna say I kind of like the argument of
the
first woman to not actually be successful, and I mean looking at the 6 women there, Naomi is the one that probably makes the most sense for that because she's got a storyline she's got the best storyline for that to happen with.
Are
Right.
any of these others heels besides her?
Roxanne Perez is
she's
kind of
she's
kind of a
technically
heel, but she's also
technically.
it's kind of just like she's trying to make her way with the Judgment Day.
I think Julia
tough
is
with the
technically a
Judgment Day,
heel as
totally.
well, because you got to think when she came on to Raw after Mania, she did attack Io, which further kind of solidifies in the eyes of the casual, Raw SmackDown viewers as a heel. So I think Naomi is a true heel. Roxanne and Julia are like in that heel window, and the rest are basically faces at the moment.
Yeah, Stephanie hasn't been around long enough to really show, but I think she's kind of just she's Stephanie, and
She's a tweener.
People love her right now, so she can do what she wants.
Yeah. So from
kind
my
of like Rhea in that sense.
Yeah, true. For my pick, I think we're gonna go all different directions. I think I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Alexa Bliss. Because the more I thought about it, the more I can just see the Wyatt storyline playing out of just with the Wyatts collecting titles. I can see that direction. I can also see the direction of Alexa takes his title off Tiffany. You can also have, Alexa and Tiffany continue to feud. You can bring Charlotte back in the mix. We've already seen Charlotte and Alexa already have some meetings on SmackDown. But that's also the other reason why I could see Alexa winning it, because I feel like for the women's Money in the Bank, I think SmackDown really needs that help. You know what I mean? Because my winner is a Raw winner. But SmackDown, I really think SmackDown needs that help, that injection of a powerful storyline. And I think Alexa and the Wyatts is that storyline that could give the SmackDown the help they need. Because I mean, like the universal acclaim that I've seen over the past few weeks or so with SmackDown, SmackDown's been very meh for a lot of people. And it also sticking to that 3-hour mark, you need some help storyline wise over on SmackDown. So I'm gonna go with Alexa Bliss.
Why are you so keen to get the title off Tiffany?
I'm not necessarily keen to get the title off Tiffany.
That's the only thing you mention is you're trying to get the title off.
I'm not trying to get the title.
Out of that.
I'm not. Calm down. I'm not trying to get the title off of her.
Your whole thing there. That's all I took from it.
Well, I mean, you can assume whoever's going to win the Women's Money in the Bank is going to potentially take it off of her.
Why not take it off Io?
Why take it off Io? I can make the same argument.
I'm just saying, you only posed one.
I'll tell you why you take it off Io versus Tiffany. Io should not be champion right now. Take it off Io.
Wow,
that's why.
Relax.
Io's great.
Io's amazing. You're on your own island on that one. You are 1,000% on your own island.
Goodness gracious! Great balls of fire! You're killing me here.
She is the best.
John, hang on. Out of curiosity, John, how old are you?
How old am I? 31.
Okay, I'm a little older. It's not much older. I just want to make sure.
No, although I will say I do think Io is going to lose her title before Tiffany does.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's going to be to, but I think I could see Tiffany holding on to it probably until
post SummerSlam, maybe.
I think they're going to go that long. I don't know if they'll go that long.
It depends. She doesn't have a good feud right now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It depends on who they bring in to feud with her.
Yeah. All right, boys. What about the men's Money in the Bank? I'll go ahead and shout mine out because I'm not going to be swayed on this. It's Seth freaking Rollins. I think there's such a good storyline there. With my picks, you got the women's on SmackDown, the men's on Raw. You're splitting them up. They're not both on the same show. Give me Seth freaking Rollins. I'm not going to be swayed on this one. That's who I've got. But I can see arguments for others. But my pick is officially Seth. I'll lead the way on this.
John, I want to hear yours before.
Yeah, you were hyping yours up. I want to hear it. Are you going to say El Grande Americano? Like, what are we doing?
Okay. I've got a bunch.
Chad Gable. It's not Grande Americano.
No, they're not. They're two different people.
Hey, you asked me to say mine, so let me say.
I'm sorry.
I've got great storylines potentially coming out of all the 3 other matches.
Okay.
So I gotta have one where I've got a fun storyline coming out of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put El Grande Americano.
Jesus Christ! I was kidding.
Wait for it. Don't let me lose you yet. Because the only reason is the fact that even commentary has been talking about, like, this is kind of awkward for Chad Gable right now because El Grande Americano is so over. and the fact that he's got a chance in the Money in the Bank right now. If El Grande Americano wins the Money in the Bank, Chad Gable is in such an awkward position.
He really is.
I want to see the story play out from that. Because imagine El Grande Americano cashing in on somebody successfully.
Right.
And El Grande Americano wins the title before Chad Gable.
That's actually funny.
I just want to see this play out.
You want to see chaos, just pure chaos.
Yeah, I want to see the chaos play out.
That's fair.
So I do like that. The only problem is, John, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes
It would not
perfect
make
sense.
No, hang on. It doesn't make sense now because you have two champions with Jey Uso and John Cena, and everybody knows. Everybody knows
they could cash in on any title they want to, and if
You and I both
it
know.
really is
you and
Chad
I-
Gable underneath the mask, what title is he going to want to go for?
That
It's the
IC
same title he's
title.
always gone for.
That
which is the
IC title.
And I know
So-
you're shaking
okay,
your head
so-
because cashing in on not the world title is a dumb decision. Character-wise, it makes sense. And the only person in this match I could see who would actually cash in and win a world title is Seth Rollins.
Don't sleep on Solo Sikoa.
Okay, you're gonna
Don't
talk.
sleep
You're
on-
gonna talk all this shit about everybody else.
Wait,
and talk
wait.
about sleeping on Solo Sikoa.
So hang on. Solo Sikoa makes way more sense than El Grande Americano does. Let's get that straight.
What's he
the
gonna
simple
do?
Because the simple fact is that right now he is technically still the leader of that tribal era chief or whatever the case may be, and yet he has nothing to show for it. Now he possibly will. And who yet to better cash it on than Big Brother Jey Uso? Why else would he not? And if we wanted to really get on this entire list here, who needs it more than him? Nobody, because they haven't really
Andrade.
pushed him. They have not pushed him as a solo. They really have not pushed him in that sort of direction of being a solo wrestler because he loses all the time. So
Well,
why
they
not?
tried.
So why not make? Well, yeah, no, very true. But I'm
They
saying in
tried,
general,
and then we got Jacob Fatu come in, and then they realized, oh, Jacob Fatu is just solo but better.
Basically.
that is true. That is very true. But at the same time, if you really wanted to go to a different route, you wanted to push that bloodline storyline out. Solo Sikoa cashes in. Roman Reigns comes back, beats the crap out of him, kicks the champ, and bam, Roman Reigns is champion again. Because that's probably
that's what this is all about. Is just making Roman Reigns champion.
That's probably what they're going to go with. I mean, think about it. Why would they're not going to take it? They're not going to take it off John Cena, not yet, unless they wait till like the end of the year, or whatever the case may be. So I'm telling you, don't sleep on Solo Sikoa.
You're forgetting about one key feature here. Is we've been doing this slow build to the Solo Fatu clash, and if Solo loses here and then comes back and tries to like big dog Fatu again, well, there's your SummerSlam match.
That's true.
I'm just saying, don't sleep. But no, Alex is right. Seth Rollins is winning this daggum thing.
There we go.
I think Seth Rollins is probably winning it, but I think it'd be really funny if Americano won.
This is the setup. This is the setup. No, and this is the set. It's setting up Seth Rollins to be a two-time winner, which is fine. I have zero problems with that. But I could also see them going. I could see them going the solo route. I really could. Just for the simple fact is that basically what I said earlier. I really want Andrade to win, though. If it's not Seth Rollins, I want Andrade to win because I really think he is just one of those that has not been able to come out of that shell yet because he's only used as a mid-card guy. He's never really been used as a top of the candidate wrestler or anything like that. And he has a lot of talent, with the exception of being a husband. He's divorced now.
I think that's more on the other person's fault, if I'm going to be honest with you. The track record speaks for itself.
You're probably right. It's Flair. Don't marry Flair.
Don't marry a Flair. The Flairs are.
I'm not going to say what the other thing I wanted to say because A, we're being recorded. B, my wife is in the other room. C, I don't want my ear to get pulled and on camera. So, we're just going to go ahead and just say, don't marry the Flair. Okay. Don't marry the Flair. Okay. That's all I'm saying. But I really think, though, this is Seth Rollins and nobody else. It would make no sense for LA not to win, even though I would love to see him
I would love to see him get, some kind of pop or whatever the case may be if he were to win. But if he were to win, it's going to be after John Cena or Jey Uso loses. He's not cashing in on either one of them because we have to assume if it's going to be a world title, we have to assume it's going to be Jey Uso at this point because they're protecting Cena right now. And so it's just so we could, then again, they could wait till Cena loses and then someone else cashes in on Cody Rhodes.
Listen,
so that right there could also happen.
They could carry the money in the bank briefcase post Cena's retirement. That's something else you got to keep in mind.
That is true. That is true. But I'm also thinking short term also as well as the long term deal goes. But yeah, they're set up Seth Rollins. It's going to be Seth Rollins. It's not going to be a shock when he climbs the ladder and bam, there it is. The only thing that really wants me to believe it's not going to be Seth Rollins is because of CM Punk. CM Punk could come in and interrupt.
Yeah.
I could see that happening
Sammy as
to
well.
continue that feud because they're still Roman as well. I could still see that feud being continued. To me, besides Solo, it would make no sense storyline wise to continue with anybody else other than Solo and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I will say, realistically, I think it's probably Seth Rollins because the way I look at it is, I think Seth Rollins would be the one who would win this match, and then after the Jey Uso Gunther match on Monday, he cashes in. Because it's like Jey could be there like celebrating. You have Braun Breaker come out, spear him from behind. Bronson Reed tsunami. Seth Rollins stomp, cash in, new World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I think is probably going to happen.
Could be.
I want to see the chaos. I want to see the dumb situation of Americano carrying around a red, white, and blue briefcase. I think that would be great. So I'm sticking with it. It's probably one of the least likely options in the match, but it'd be fun.
All right, well, it's officially on the message, so that's your official pick. El Grande Americano. Oh, geez. No, it's gonna be a fun show this weekend. It's gonna be a fun show. There's gonna be a lot of chaos. There's gonna be a lot of surprises. I think. It's gonna be fun. I think we're in for a good show. Like I said, if there ends up being any more matches added, it is what it is. We're doing this show on the 3rd. I could totally see a Sheamus and Rusev match getting added. I could totally see that getting added later in the week. There's definitely some possibilities of match that could get added. And if they get added, they get added. It is what it is. We're just recording the show a little early here.
I just looked at that message and man, that looks stupid.
You made your pick, brother.
Something else we haven't not brought up yet that was kind of weird. They're moving WrestleMania from New Orleans.
Oh, that's true. That's unprecedented, man. That's crazy.
And I'm kind of sad because I had plans to go down there to New Orleans for the show, and now they're moving it. And they still have not yet announced it, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you? That's a weird situation. But yet, Money in the Bank next year is going to be at New Orleans.
And after SummerSlam, that's crazy.
People are, I swear.
That's crazy, dude. Money in the Bank got pushed back so far.
Let's see. When is it next year?
It's September? Like August 28th or something, dude. It's after SummerSlam.
I did not realize that.
I was going to say, the only reason I could think that they might want to do that is maybe they want to do more WrestleMania cash-ins.
Yeah.
And then that way they don't have to hold the
August
29th.
Yeah. Hey. They don't have to hold the briefcase for like 8 months. They'd only have to hold it for like 4 or 5.
Hey,
that's very fair.
That's my birthday present next year. Money in the Bank.
Sorry,
in New Orleans.
That's funny.
Hey, I bought you tickets and when we're still broke. Leave me alone.
That's marriage, baby. No, that is an unprecedented thing, and all signs right now looks like it will be back in Vegas, which is also unprecedented. You know what I mean? Vegas must have dropped a fucking bag. That's all I gotta say. They must have been like, the Raiders organization, Allegiant Bank and Allegiant Stadium. They must have saw all the money they got from WrestleMania 41 and was like, listen, we got to run that shit back right now.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we need you to change what you're doing. Come
Here's
back
a
here.
check.
We want the money.
Yeah, here's a check. Blank check. Put whatever you want on it. Oh, geez. That's crazy. Crazy situation. All right, boys, let's get out of here. If you made it all the way in, we appreciate you. Let's go around the room. Last thoughts. John, you got anything?
I guess I'm back to my chaotic picks.
Here we go.
I went kind of normal for a couple of shows there,
Yep.
but I got to bring some chaos every now and then.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I like the chaos.
Chaos is fun, brother. Chaos is fun. Ricky, what about you? Any last thoughts?
We all have to root for the chaos. I mean, that's just that's all part of it, especially when it comes to wrestling, because this is all for fun. We know that we don't know the script, but they know the script. They knew the script probably months ago before coming into this stupid thing. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, shout out, let's go Money in the Bank, and I just know where I'm gonna be at for my birthday next year, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all don't wait up on me.
All right,
August 29th. I will be in New Orleans.
Shout out. All right. Well, yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, we appreciate you. Make sure to check out the Patreon, Agent Inc. and Rogue Energy, as well as Sparky3Shop.com. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend. Like I said, we do these about every single month for every PLE. Sooner or later, we'll do more, but we're busy. We got a lot of stuff going on. Make sure to check out Sparky 3 and Game Static. Big week for Game Static right now with everything going on. Until next time, have a great day. See you.